I just want to give you a bit of an insight into the AFL Enjoys team. We're a bunch of unique individuals, Matsa, Sfenda, and Dean. We're going to engage with our minds and our hearts. We're going to exchange ideas, thoughts, and even our energy. And to speak from your heart, you need to have courage. You need to be honest and authentic. We're not always going to get it right, and sometimes you're not going to agree with us. But that's okay, because just like you, we care. Just like you, we're passionate about the game. So if you want to come along for the ride, join us at the AFL Enjoys podcast, because we really enjoy the footy. Hello and welcome back to the AFL Enjoys podcast. We have a definitive trade period preview to get through today. Ad-free, unlike trade radio, where you're listening to ads 3/4 of the time.
True. Definitive is a strong word, but
I like that, and you got through it pretty well, dude.
Thank you.
Done.
I know that's one of
I would
Dino's,
have slipped my tongue 100 times on that.
that is one of Dino's best intros of all time. I think.
Appreciate it, boys.
yeah.
It's almost so good you got to do it again.
No,
No,
not happening.
please don't.
Well, you know what? I've been really excited for the last couple of weeks, knowing that this is my time to shine. In off-season, I've been waiting for it all year. North's obviously going to have a big say in it. Carlton, maybe, we'll see. They've got to get better. We'll see what they're trying to do to improve. But free agency started on Friday, boys. We're recording now on a Sunday afternoon. Tomorrow is when it all kicks off. Trade period. 2 weeks of absolute chaos because all the trades need to essentially be done until draft night when some picks can fly around. But the players are going to get done probably most this week and then the tricky ones next week. We're looking at you, Essendon, and probably Port.
Yeah, true. We know how Dodora likes to hold people up for as much value as he can get.
Right.
You know, no one overrates his players higher than him.
He's the only list manager that is like a household name.
Yeah, I know. How do we know him, man?
That's
How do we
because
know him?
he's above the players, this guy.
Wants all
not
the
a fan,
attention.
Not a fan.
Nah, not at all.
Neither. Like,
But yeah, so I thought what we would do, I've written some notes, essentially going through the ladder positioning. So obviously Collingwood, Brisbane and so on. And maybe just look at what's been confirmed so far, what the rumours are. Mainly just giving our opinion, though. Obviously, a lot of it's been reported all week, so won't go into that too much. But mainly just how you guys think it'll benefit or hurt potentially the team, depending if they're losing the guy. So just broke actually about half an hour ago. Taylor Adams requesting a trade to Sydney.
yes.
That's a huge one.
Yes.
How much, what's the psychology? I want to kind of understand. Obviously, he's really unlucky to miss out on the premiership. Usually, if a player plays in the premiership, it kind of closes that chapter. They're fulfilled and they go, all right, there's another opportunity at another team. I feel free to kind of go. And teams are happy to let players go after they win the flag and kind of mix it up a bit. But he missed out and he's still going. So obviously, I just wonder what's going through his mind at the moment. What do you think?
I think it's got to do with years of how much the contract is going to be, which is, if that's the case, fair enough. But I think there's a clear spot in a Sydney midfield rotation as well. So it means that, he, does a bit more grunt work, and it also links to the Brodie Grundy situation where they were a pretty formidable duo, ruckman to inside mid duo. So, he goes up with a mate, so he's not going up to Sydney by himself. And also he's lived in Sydney before. So he was a GWS player.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It's not too foreign to him to go over there and live. So look, hey, good on him. He's probably going to get paid a bit more because Sydney, for some reason, have millions to spend on players. They had did you guys see what they offered or what they were going to offer to Norton?
Norton, what?
Yeah, they were going to offer him 11 mil over 10 years or something. That was the
next
rumored
buddy trade.
I know, exactly, man. They needed someone to replace, the buddy contract.
That would have been ridiculous. He's not worth that. No way.
Nah, I agree.
That's some good points there, Matt. I guess it's interesting as well. Just the immediate reaction I was seeing from the Collingwood fans is that they're sort of wishing him well. It's hard to see why they would react otherwise, though, because they've just won the flag without him. So they clearly don't need him. I do think, though, there is
it's from a position of joy as opposed to a position of being,
Exactly. And there is a spot in that Collingwood team for him. I mean, if he's fit, Lipinski's not playing in that grand final, straight up.
Yeah, true.
So, interesting one. I think you're right, though, with the Sydney history that he has. The Grundy thing, I'm not too sure, but it may be somewhat. It can only help Sydney, though, because they've got Warner, Goulden, which are a little bit more outside, obviously, than in.
Yeah. I'd say Warner's kind of the both of those guys are like fluid. That can go both. Warner probably more inside. 'cause
Yeah,
he's got that
he's the
explosion.
burst player.
But some of his best stuff that you'll see is when he's extracted the ball and then he's pushing from inside to out. So I think that'll help him a lot. So I guess, massive move for Sydney. Good on them. They're responding pretty well to the disappointment of this year, I would have thought.
It almost feels like Taylor Adams wants the Tom Mitchell role. You know what I mean? The inside position. And obviously that was taken by Tom Mitchell at Collingwood. So I guess it didn't really work out for him in that regard. But I think it's a good move for both Taylor Adams and for Sydney.
What do you think the deal needs to be? Like, picks-wise?
Well, assuming he's fit, he's worth a late first rounder, in my opinion. But
I think a second rounder. at
yeah,
most.
He's
but he's
old.
not,
He's
right?
old,
He's
right?
older and he's not. So it's got to be a second rounder,
Yeah.
I would have thought.
If it was 3 years ago, first round pick. But now, second rounder. We should do
Interesting.
the job.
That's all I've really got for Collingwood. No one's really been linked to join them so far. But their season did end later, so it's probably understandable.
True. They haven't had a chance to get to work probably and, get there.
They still haven't made it back to the training.
Yeah, true. No one's in the office there.
They did make some delistings though. So Trey Rusco and Bianco was an interesting one as well.
Yeah.
Which when he's played, he's been okay, but their team's just too stacked to fit him.
He could be a rookie listed player
I think
somewhere.
he might get picked up somewhere. Yeah.
I think he's, from memory, he's not that quick and he's not that good inside. I don't really know exactly what his role is, but, someone will probably take a flyer on him.
And the Pies do have picks 18, 36, 75, and 93. So those late ones are essentially going to be passed in, you would have thought. So 18 and 36, that's interesting. Probably something in the middle of there is where they want to be for the receiving a pick.
They probably just pick the best player that's available and just bring him into the system.
Yeah. They can afford to be pretty chill about it.
Yeah, it's best available. Don't have to. There's no real position of need for them. I think that's
not at
that.
this stage, no.
It's not really screaming out
Perfect, boys. So Brisbane finished second. They're going to get Tom Duday, which is interesting.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that one? Obviously, their defense is pretty good. I don't think that was the problem in the grand final loss, but definitely strengthens them, I think.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm intrigued about with that move is the fact that Duday, he's kind of an interceptor / lockdown. So I don't know exactly what role he's going to play for them, but does that open up Jack Payne to another team or Darcy Gardner?
Well, that's a good point.
Or
Are
Leicester?
they doing that preemptively, you're saying, just in case something else moves? Because Jack Payne has been linked to other team, hasn't he?
I haven't seen too much, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's maybe they know something we don't, and they're sort of just stacking up in that event because he's probably not being paid much at all, Jack Payne, and he'll be worth more when he's ready to renew. Yeah,
I think that one game where he held Curnow to 1 or 2 goals, that enough gets you a big contract.
Yeah,
We had a great year.
He did, man. I remember at one stage he was getting the AFL broadcasters, they were losing it with Jack Payne, and fair enough. They were giving him his flowers, and well deserved.
They just discovered who he was, and they decided to talk about him.
Yeah,
fair enough, man.
So hey, he's a player that you'd take at North, man. I'll tell you that.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Now they've got Dev Robinson actually re-signed. He was almost going to go to the Eagles, which was interesting.
He's got to continue his modelling career in Gold Coast.
Yeah, true. He's built up too much of a celebrity now.
The sun's too good up there for him.
Yeah.
You've got to get the right lighting for the photos.
True.
So Dane Zorko is still unsigned, which is interesting. He might retire, might sign on.
Look, I get the feeling that he'll go again.
We'll see.
Because I know he's been getting injured at random points, but when he plays, he's still damaging.
Yeah.
So,
and actually, Tom Fullerton is requesting a trade to Melbourne, which is interesting. So Melbourne losing Grundy, replacing that sort of tall depth with Fullerton. Do you guys know much about him?
Forward. That's all I know, to be honest with you. I know the name from Supercoach, and that's it. Look, he's at this stage, he's probably a depth piece, but time will tell. Who knows? Maybe he's a better forward than what we know, and that maybe he'll pair up with Van Rijn. Who knows?
It's possible. I mean, Brisbane's had pretty good tall depth for a while now. So the fact that he even did manage to play a few games over the last couple of years probably suggests that he's a decent guy to take a chance on, maybe.
It's not uncommon for second-rate big men to just go to different teams and just try them out. You see how many times Hickey went to different teams and this type of stuff. So Ruckman just move to wherever is needed.
Yeah. So the Brisbane draft picks, they've got 27 as their first pick, then 46, 56, 62, 70, and 92. So you would have thought either they'll just sit there and take someone at 27, or that maybe they could move up a couple picks to the earlier 20s.
Yeah. Look, it wouldn't surprise me if they even traded into next year so they can get the Levi Ashcroft picks.
Yeah, true.
I think that's something that they might think about. If there's not someone that they really need, I'd just trade into next year and get more points. But who knows?
Yeah. What would they need to take their game to the premiership? Like they got so close. I don't know if there's no big fish to take.
Yeah, probably not.
So
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think there's any like glaring position of need.
That's
in
right.
My eyes.
They might just take like a young ruck to just slowly develop in the background or something.
Yeah, no, I don't mind that. And there's a couple around that 27 mark from memory.
Yeah.
I think it's Edwards and this might be a Green or something. I can't remember. There's a couple ruckmen around thereabouts.
Yeah, there's
that are
always a
available.
couple.
Yeah.
Cool. And then, so Port Adelaide, these guys are going to be busy, right? So they've had Radaglia, Zerk Thatcher, and Jordan Sweet request trades to them. Lysette and Teakle are going to go. The interesting thing is they don't have their first round pick this year. So bringing in Radaglia, Zerk Thatcher, and Sweet with essentially, what's their first pick? Sorry, boys.
It'd be in the second round.
Yeah, it would be. So late
then
20s.
they're just trying to shore up their defense, which has been an issue all year, right?
So their first pick's 38 actually, then
Oh, wow.
44, 71, 89. So they've got only their next year first round pick as anything valuable.
Yeah, so that will probably get split into maybe a couple seconds, like high-end seconds, you'd think, so they can try to facilitate those moves. Look, to be honest, I can see the vision. Like Asava taking the first, key forward, Zerk Thatcher taking the next one, and then Alia as the interceptor. I think it's a good plan. In saying that, none of these dudes, including Jordan Sweet, right? None of them are really like cemented, established AFL players.
No.
We see the potential in Asava. You see the potential in Zerk Thatcher, but it's not like these are 2, 3 year, 4 year veterans in those positions. Sweet has a handful of games at AFL level.
Yeah. But is he going to come in and be first ruck?
Yep.
Well, they've got no Lysette or Teakle now, so who's there?
It's going to be him.
They don't want to be playing Finlayson ruck anymore. I don't think.
No.
They tried to get Grundy, failed, so
Jordan Sweet's been a really good VFL ruckman, and you can whenever I've watched the Bulldogs play in the VFL, he's a monster. You know what I mean? But can that translate to the AFL level? Will it be enough? Maybe
It might be. Sometimes you just need the ruckman to just compete hard, right? Just be like a presence, like Mark Pitternet for Carlton. He's not a talented ruckman. He's just a big boy. So, but yeah, with Jonas retiring, I think Trent McKenzie I don't think he's that good of a defender.
he's pretty old.
Yeah. So they're kind of just replenishing their back stocks, which is a big need for them.
So the interesting thing there is there's rumours that Xavier Dersma might be available to a higher bidder so that they can get some picks in to then get the guys they want to bring in. Now, obviously, Dersma's not been exceptional in the last year or two, but coming out of that draft, for the first 2 years of his career, he was really good.
He's a
talent.
killer runner too. Like he had some 17-kilometer games in his first year, which is elite of elite. It's crazy stuff. So
Yeah, that's insane. So for me, it's like, is Zerk Thatcher and Radaglia that important that you lose someone like an elite runner? Runners in the AFL are so valuable these days. I don't know. I'm questioning the ambition. I see it, but also at the same time, if you're losing key players and bringing in some key players, are you really getting better? I don't know. Time will tell.
I think it's harder to find. I think the key position stocks though.
Yeah, true. Well, even Ollie Wines is not that. There's a bit of noise there that's not going away. So, man, if you're losing a Brownlow medal winner, I know he's not at the top of his game currently, but geez.
Yeah, look, I was saying this off the pod, but I don't think Wines and Horne-Francis can really coexist in the same centre square because neither of them are just like highly energetic two-way running players. Horne-Francis does the flashy running, the tackles and bursting forward, but they're not. I don't know. Maybe Horne-Francis needs to build up that engine. And he doesn't quite have it yet, but I don't know.
Well, he's only had 2 preseasons, so we'll give him some slack on that. But
yeah, do we have to really give him slack?
No, not really.
I'll give him some slack.
There we go. George gives him
But
some slack.
the thing about Port is their midfield's their future midfield is established with 2 superstars already, and then with Jason Horne-Francis coming up, and then they've got what's the name of the
Drew.
Drew's what I'm looking for. Who's kind of the tough kind of contested. Who's still young. So that's their midfield. Wines has had an exceptional Brownlow season, but the couple of years before that weren't very good. He's kind of just folded back into a good player.
It was a surprise Brownlow as well. Let's be fair. Did anyone predict that?
I think he got 36 votes, which is mental.
Yeah, true.
Rest in peace, Bont. On 33, misses out again. Anyway, but I don't think Wines is crucial. Is Boat going around again as well?
Yeah, yep.
But that's just depth. That's just in case of injuries. So, yeah, I don't know. I think if I was Port, I'd be happy to lose Wines for the right price.
Interesting. I guess we'll see. It's one of those ones you won't know till it happens.
There's the question. Who would you rather lose, Dersma or Wines?
It just depends on price.
I think, like you said, with the current formation of the midfield moving forward, it would have to be Wines, in my opinion.
But does Port need a running wingman? They've got Amon. And who's the other wingman?
No, Amon's at Hawthorn.
Yeah.
They've got Bergman, who's pushing more and more into the midfield. They've got obviously Houston's around. I don't know if he's specifically on a wing.
He played more midfield this year.
Yeah. I think you can't have enough elite two-way runners. That's my opinion.
Because they're versatile as well. You can play them on either flank.
And Port, they got rolled over in the finals because all their star talents like running one way more than they do the other. That's as much as we love Butters and Rozzy, they're not giving as much of that.
They got slaughtered out the middle.
Yeah. Like if they don't win it, then it's going the other way.
But
So
Wines was in that final. He didn't. Did he have an impact?
that's what I'm saying. That's why I would be more keen to keep Dersma because I feel like he's more contributing in the other side of the game that they might need to balance out with their team. But that's just my opinion anyway.
So who's their other winger? I forgot Amon left, but did Houston play in the wing? He probably did a bit.
I feel like it was Bergman mainly.
Bergman. I feel like Bonner when he played, but he got delisted as well.
Yeah,
so
true.
that was a recent delisting. I don't even know, man. I don't even know.
We're missing a player.
Dylan Williams was playing on the defense.
He was defense.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know.
Doesn't matter. But
Look, they could probably look. The fact that we can't figure out who their wingers are, Dersma's probably a good one to keep. But
interesting. Well, they're going to be. I think a lot of these moves are going to go well into next week as some of those late trades.
yeah.
There's just a lot to play out before they can get all the picks that are necessary. So Melbourne, they've got some interesting stuff happening here. I don't know if this is going to mean anything for them really, but Jordan out to the Swans and Harms likely to the Dogs, and then Fullerton in, which we mentioned before, and McAdam from the Crows.
Look, I
don't mind the McAdam one.
yeah.
It's a bit different.
Yeah, adds a bit of some more class into the forward line. Pair him up with Fridge. It's interesting.
And Malcolm being injured, you can take that role.
Yeah, the thing I don't, James Jordan don't care about too much for their purpose. For Sydney, it's good for them. Don't think it matters too much. But I don't like Harms going to Western Bulldogs, man.
How is he going to get more game time there?
That's the thing. I don't understand it. Like, all of us, are they going to change Libba's position, Bond's position? Is McRae going to still play on the wing? Like, are they not going to use McRae in the middle? Like, they've got guys waiting in literally in the wings to play inside midfield.
Bailey Smith as well.
Bailey Smith. Why?
Well, you know what? We're on the topic of the Dogs now, so let's just skip a few teams temporarily because I agree with you wholeheartedly. This is the Dogs again, in my opinion, recruiting in ways that I don't think actually benefits them. Like we're looking at, they're actually going to get Caulfield as well, and I like Caulfield. He's been injured, but when he plays, I reckon he's a pretty good player.
Yeah, in his defender, he's had most of his career has been injured with ACLs.
Yeah,
and Crows still.
But again, I think they're pretty well placed in that half back line. Like obviously you've got Durais there as a ball playing defender. Ed Richards. You've got.
Did you say Dale?
So I didn't say him yet, but sorry, Dale.
Yeah.
Who's your boy, Crozier?
Crozier, yeah.
Crozier's
solid.
potentially been linked to Carlton.
Oh,
Okay, that's interesting.
Interesting, yeah. I don't mind Crozier. A little bit of a
Okay, so if they lose
They've
someone,
still got Daniel as well, Hushbuller.
yeah. So if they lose a few of them, fair enough. But I just feel like they're happy to just bring in whoever wants to come to them. Which, to an extent, I guess you just do it if they're talented. But
They wouldn't have to give up anything for Harms though. So there's also you also look at what you get. Like if it's just a random third rounder or something, and you're getting Harms, right? What is Harms doing? I don't know. But if they're not throwing the farm at it either, then maybe it's not too crazy. But I don't understand the decision.
Yeah. Unless they've told Harms, look, we have this half forward role for you that we see you fulfilling. I don't think he'd want to do that. But like maybe Maybe they've got a vision for him, whereas at Melbourne he was just sort of floating around and he was fringe.
The Dogs just need a new coach, man. That's what they need to recruit a coach.
Thank you.
Not a player.
Nah, thank you. I agree. I think his credits have run out. Like his premiership, like let's be fair, when you win a premiership, was it his first year or second year, whatever it was?
Second, I think.
It was a very early premiership, and it was it was I'm not gonna say a lucky premiership, but it was out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
It's
was.
like look at this coach bringing out the best in this young team. He just hasn't really done it since.
Well, in my opinion, they need a coach who does like what Kingsley did at the Giants, which is, what's your best skills? I'm going to play you there. Just
Exactly.
enough stuffing around. We've mentioned it all year, but I don't see how these moves really benefit. We're on Melbourne, so we'll go back there. I don't see how it moves the needle for Melbourne or the Dogs, to be honest. It seems like just both of those teams, at the moment, a bit of nothing sort of stuff.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Well, look, they might get us. See, the second rounder or whatever they're going to get out of Grundy is just going to go into one of those meh trades. They're probably going to the McAdam,
Yeah.
Probably go to McAdam, which isn't too bad. But
What about Oliver?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Alright.
I was excited for a bit there.
Look, I initially thought this is the biggest load of shit,
Yeah,
right?
it has to be.
And then all of a sudden there was there was too much smoke. There was too much smoke. So, and then, obviously it went back the other way. We realized, okay, they said to him, hey man, we love you. We want you to stay. Just stop doing so much dumb stuff. Yeah. Could you imagine if Adelaide got their hands on the best midfielder in the comp?
Yeah, that's something that changes. Adelaide gave up 2 first-round picks for Gibbs, which is so fun in hindsight. But he's the type of player you give around 2 first-round picks for and just transform your team.
Mate, in the NBA, they give out like 4 or 5 first-round picks, which is not allowed in the AFL. But that's the sort of player you'd do it
But
for.
they can go years into the future. Whereas if that was allowed in the AFL, he would demand that as well. But anyway,
Yeah.
10 first-rounders for Oliver.
Yeah.
that's crazy. The interesting thing, though, with Melbourne is they actually do have picks 5 and 13 because of the Luke Jackson stuff. So they're well stacked. There's rumours they're going to try get closer to number 1, if not number 1. Or when you consider that they're a top 4 team and have been for a few years now, the fact that they have a bit of flexibility there to land a big fish potentially.
What do they need?
You know what? I was going to ask you, Dean, out of the, because you're a big draft fan, who in the top 5 to 10 range would you want them to get with their pick 5? If they were to just not make any trades, pick a player who might drop to them. Because I have one in my head.
I'll say none of the mids, the pure mids. I think they're okay there for a while. Viney polled so well in the Brownlow, so he's
24
still
votes.
Yeah, he's doing well. Petrarco and Oliver obviously good. So I think maybe a Dersma who can hit the scoreboard if he's still around. It's a good question.
See,
Is there any keys?
The Wizard,
not
the
really.
Wizard would be good in their forward line as well because they need a bit more damaging scoreboard players.
Yeah, it's funny because I actually thought the opposite. I think that they should go for midfield depth because after Viney, Oliver, Petrarca, it's like Brayshaw's a bit more versatile. He can play in the defense, right? I feel like you go for someone like Riley Sanders.
Oh, he'd be beautiful there.
He honestly, because you don't have to put any pressure on the guy. He'll just come in, maybe plays a little bit on the wing and replaces what James Jordan gave you there. But then when he plays in the guts, he can give those big boys a spell. Hard runner both ways. I think that's the one.
Well, they could even just go for Nate Caddy and
Yeah.
just get a young forward who might grow another couple centimetres. He's already 192, but their forward line could use some work as well. So
Yeah,
interesting.
true. No, it's fair. Actually, Nate Caddy's a good one as well. Yeah, but that's exciting for them, man. And they've been heavily rumored to try to move up to 1. So who knows if that's going to happen?
Yeah,
That'd
interesting.
be crazy. If
Very
they manage
interesting.
that.
Cool. Now the Blues, George. So the only real in that's been linked, you mentioned Crozier. I hadn't heard that one yet, but Elijah Hollands, Ollie Hollands' brother from Gold Coast.
Yeah, it's obviously the brother factor. I don't know much about Elijah Hollands other than the fact that he's highly talented, but we haven't seen much of him. How many games did he play for Gold Coast? Like 10 games?
Handful.
Like that?
He in his draft year, we're watching pretty closely. Me and Matsa. That was the year North took Will Phillips.
Yeah.
I reckon Hollands would have been a top 3 pick if he didn't get injured. He had a knee injury going into that draft, so he's never really shown what he can do at Gold Coast yet. So the answer is he could be a really explosive half forward scoreboard hitting midfielder, but I don't know. if he's going to ever hit that potential.
Is he more of a forward half player or is
yes.
he a pure mid?
More forward half.
Well, then
Yeah.
that kind of makes sense then, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's actually quite a good move for you guys. If you can get him for like a second round pick or something, there's worse like chances you could take on someone than a young kid that's not really done anything yet. So
It is interesting with Carlton because we looked at these teams. What do they need to do to improve, right? Carlton made a prelim. That's a good effort. But where does their improvement come from? I don't think you can rely on like a Elijah Hollands to turn yourself into a premiership team. So obviously Carlton needs to find a way to develop the players within the team to get better. So is their strategy to just top up with some potential, with some talent to see what they can make of it? Probably, because they don't have a lot of chips, right? They don't have a lot to play with.
Well, you've got pick 16 and then really late, like 65 and a couple even higher. So let's just say just pick 16 you've got.
And then it comes, well, you've got to get rid of Fisher.
Yeah, Fisher
So
to North.
North has to give something to Carlton, and then Paddy Dow as well.
So you'll probably have 16 for Fisher, probably something early 30s maybe. And then Dow, who knows? Maybe it's the same. Maybe later, like 40s.
Yeah, so they're going to want to trade maybe the Fisher for Hollands.
Yeah, that pick.
Yeah.
That's probably fair, man. Yeah.
Because they're not going to give up 16.
No way.
16, we just go to the draft with 16, I think.
Just take that'll end up at 20.
Yeah. I feel like they'll probably be a half decent, like small/medium forward that can, give a bit of goal nous.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what
I
you
think
guys
so.
might need. Like other than that, the team's pretty well settled. Like,
It's a settled team, yeah. I don't know. There's not a lot of big fish in this draft, right? Like if there was some small forward that, not in the draft, in the trade period. So if there was some superstar small that wanted to leave, I'd be asking Carlton to sell the farm for him.
But look, it could come out of nowhere. Like, did any of you guys have an inkling of Taylor Adams
Well, that's right.
leaving? So there might be someone just out of nowhere that goes, hey, I want to go to this club or that club. Like,
I think the Blues kind of know what their team is and what their identity is, so they can probably make a pretty educated decision on what it is they need. It'd be interesting to see what they do, though. But I wouldn't be surprised if they just get rid of Fisher and Dow, who are kind of fringe players that have some current currency, and just go to the draft and see what they can get. If you nail a draft pick, an early draft pick, you saw what Hollands did for us this year. He's a pick 11, which is a high pick, but he's nailed down a wing role, and in his first year had a big impact.
Yeah.
Like young players really rejuvenate the list. So if they can find a way to nail that first round pick for someone that's coming through the draft that has some talent, get Hollands as well, and then just find a way to build from within.
And that's typically what the better teams do in the draft is they can be a lot more clear about what they need. They know where their improvement areas are, and you can just get the best guy that does that specific skill that you need. So the chance of them having an impact actually is pretty good, I would have thought. You mentioned Fisher, so him going to North. I remember a couple of years ago, George, you did tell me, and Matsa, you did say Fisher All-Australian shout. It wasn't last year, it was the year before.
It might have been the year before that, though.
No, it wasn't that long ago. Nah, jokes aside.
Look, talented player.
Yeah.
I think he is good. He's a very versatile footballer, so he's good in many positions, but I don't think he's elite in any position. And I think when you're versatile, but you don't have a key position to kind of stamp your authority, you can kind of become a fringe player. But in a team like North that needs help everywhere, he probably has more of an opportunity to settle in a position and just make it his home. And you guys just need more talent, right? He's talent, so
yeah, 100%. His kicking is very, very good.
he's good. He's agile. He's quick. He can find the ball.
He's left-footed. Clarko likes left-footers, famously.
He froths
So
it, yeah.
look, I think it's a good move for us. Better ball users going into the 50, taking out of our defensive 50. Yeah, no,
He's really good friends with Griffin Logue.
Yeah, exactly.
So
good team bonding.
there's always a bit of a link there with friendships and stuff.
Agent Logue. Love it. Cool. So we'll move on to the Saints. Now, you did mention Paddy Dow. He's most likely going to the Saints. And then Liam Henry has nominated the Saints as well. So a bit of wing and midfield reinforcements there.
Yeah, both really good. They'd be really good moves. for
Yeah,
these
I
teams.
like it.
It's
Yeah.
not bad, isn't it?
Liam Henry, we saw his potential at the back end of the year when Georgie brought him into his draft team. He actually started scoring really well. He kicks it a lot, man. He's not a handball guy.
But 30 possession on the wing. That's a lot of possessions on the wing.
Yeah. And finally he starts showing potential. I can see why Fremantle was sooking a little bit.
They like to sook, to be honest.
Yeah, they do. Like, finally a guy actually starts playing well, and he's like, catch it, guys.
Then they're prying Luke Jackson from Melbourne. So what goes around comes around.
True. And let's be fair, I'd rather have Luke Jackson than Liam Henry.
100%.
So.
Well, Freo also made the worst trade of the year last year with Blake Acres for the 3rd round pick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know what? They've been involved in some really interesting trades. Because there was another trade, right, that I thought about a couple of weeks ago. Lockie Weller was like pick 2 or 3 for Lockie Weller. And that pick ended up being Andrew Brayshaw. You know what I mean? Like, so
the Gold Coast paid pick 2 for Weller because they needed someone that wanted to come to the team. Where is he?
That's bad.
Weller.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He had one good season.
Yeah, he's very he's fringe.
That's a shocker.
But yeah, anyway, back to St Kilda. Paddy Dow could be that midfield depth. Apart from Steele, Brad Crouch, maybe a Windhager type guy.
Sinclair in there every now and again.
I think I'd rather Sinclair play off the halfback. I think it's more damaging.
Yeah, and that's why Paddy Dow is a good pickup because it gives him more, inside mid specialists, and who knows, he could be really really good for them.
I just thought of something. Would Carlton entertain a Jack Billings straight swap?
I think Carlton would. Yeah. I think St Kilda would.
Yeah, St Kilda for sure. The thing with Billings, I think he might have a bit of money on his contract. So it makes it a bit interesting. Like, what's his value? Like, let's say, for example, I don't know the numbers. If he's getting paid $600,000, you don't want a fringe player for that money.
Do you think he's paying $600,000?
He might be. Remember how highly touted he was?
Yeah, he is. But how long was his contract? I don't know anything about it.
That's what I've seen is that like with his value is very much determined on how much the team getting him pays his contract. If that means like say, I don't think it would be a salary dump. Like maybe it would be a salary dump, but if North were to get an asset out of taking him on, I would do it, to be honest with you, because Billings he was that high a pick for a reason. He's fast and he's a decent left foot kick as well.
Just can't get on the park.
Yeah,
exactly. So Caulfield's leaving, Gresham's leaving, and then there's some rumors about Gresham and Dylan Shields
swap
business happening there.
Mate, Saints, stay away from Dylan Shield, man.
I don't know why they would
Stay
entertain
away.
that, to be honest.
Like, it's like you're going complete opposite ends of the spectrum with him and Dow. Dow's young, who hasn't had the opportunity to show what he can do. Shield is old and doesn't have the opportunity to show what he can do. But it's different when it's an old guy and a young guy. You know what I mean? Take the young guy on, but the old guy, there's a reason why Parrish and Merritt and even Setterfield at points is knocking him out of the midfield. He's a bit meh, I don't think he's that great.
Yeah, he's become meh over the last couple of years. He's had some good games, but he's meh.
Yeah. He used to be really good.
Yeah.
I remember there was that rumor, and you know what I'm going to say, when you guys had the number 1 pick.
That number 1 pick was Walsh, bro.
Yeah, I know. Can you imagine if you guys sent it for Shield?
That's
Walsh
bad.
was better than him in his first year, bro. Honestly.
Exactly.
Easily.
Exactly.
So the Saints have picked 12, 32, 51 and 87. So 12, you'd think they'd keep that at all costs in any of these moves they're doing.
So.
32, in terms of getting Henry, Freo probably want more. So they've got a bit of work to do as well. I'm sure they'll be involved in some pick swaps and stuff like that. So pretty interesting for them. What do you think they need to draft the Saints? I reckon they could use a bit more inside stuff. Like if there's an inside mid that is around, maybe take a chance and try to develop on.
Yeah, I think they need help in all kind of thing. They obviously have a decent list, and they've got a very defensive mindset now under Ross. So I think they'll be around it next year. But I think they can just use talent everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. There's no position apart from maybe like Max King. His role is untouched. You could probably do with another key forward, maybe.
Yeah. Membry, we don't know what's going to happen with Membry.
Yeah, hopefully he's all right.
Yeah, true.
Key defenders. Who are the key defenders? Wilkie. And then after that, it's just like
they play
Dougal Howard, maybe
Zane Cordy.
Yeah, they're all pretty solid, you know. So I think talent wherever you take it, you know, because there's not many dudes on their list who are like, you know,
Elite.
the elite.
Yeah.
That their spot is, you know, is nailed onto the, you know, onto this, you know, I don't know,
onto the board.
onto the board. Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah.
Onto the whiteboard. You know, there's those immovable magnets. You know, none of them are those really strong magnets on the board. They can be moved around.
It's interesting for the Saints. Obviously, they're going to want to hang on to their spot in the 8 and hopefully improve. So, pretty big off season for them.
But I like Darren Henry. I think that's a safe-ish, nice-ish type of trade.
Yeah.
Now the Giants. So the only in that they've been linked with is Elliot Himmelberg, just probably for some tall depth. Obviously, they're linked with his brother there, and then Matty Flynn is going to the Eagles.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I did read today as well. This is a funny one, in my opinion. They've met with Orazio Fantasia to revive his career. Now, they've revived Jesse Hogan. There's every chance they can revive Fantasia.
Why not, man? Why not? Like, I think, would it be a rookie list spot?
I don't know. I just read it earlier.
How old is Fantasia?
He'd be late 20s.
Yeah, possibly even 30.
Maybe. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Neither do I. And it cost him nothing.
Yeah, no, nothing at all.
Because they've already got a lot of young, or actually, some young and just, you know, generally good small forwards like Bedford, Daniels, Lloyd. Actually, no, Lloyd
retired.
So he probably could take Lloyd's spot. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't mind it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And they've got picks 6 and 15 as their notable draft picks, and then nothing till 54.
Yeah, well, that's 6 is the Taranto/Hopper pick.
Yes.
It's not bad.
Just take the best player.
Yeah. Look, with them, I think they could even use it. You know, if they have someone that they're really interested in the draft or as a trade, use it. You know what I mean? Like trade up. You know. I don't know, because they don't have too many positions that are weak. Their midfield is fantastic. They've got decent wings. Their defense is my favorite defense in the league. Like,
Can you just wait to see who falls to you at 6 and just take it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Nate Caddy?
Their decision's actually, probably going to be pretty easy because there's a pretty like defined top crop, and they'll probably just pick up whoever is the last one available.
I'm just thinking, but they already have Hogan, Riccardi, Nate Caddy. Not really that.
Like
They
could
got
get
Cadman as well.
Cadman. Oh yeah, geez, I don't think they're the key forward.
Like they could get Nick Watson, just fall to them in their lap.
That would be mental.
And they've already got Daniels and Toby Green. That'd be an insane forward line.
Yeah, so dangerous, especially when they're playing that like really quick slingshot football.
That would be perfect for them. So they're pretty good, I reckon.
They're in a very fortunate position, man.
Yeah.
They're going to be contending for the next 5 years, I reckon.
I agree. That's pretty much what's going on with them. Now, the Swans, we already kind of touched on the Grundy and Jordan joining them. Also, and Adam, sorry. They've also got Hamling that they're going to bring in.
Good defender.
Oh, well, premiership defender that left and then stopped playing footy.
You mentioned that off air. Like, I completely forgot he was in that Dogs team.
Yeah. He's a solid player, man. And they need the key defender help.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a good one. Dylan Stevens actually going to be going to North. So he was a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
I'll pick 5 a couple of years ago, 4 years ago now, I think.
He had a few good games this year early on, but his spot's just never been guaranteed because they have a lot of, they have a lot of wing players like Goulden floats out onto the wing, Braden Campbell,
Rowbottom. Just a whole bunch of guys.
Florent, McInerney. They got players for days.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's bad on him. It's just it doesn't look bad on Steve.
I think he just wants to come home. Well, he's a Melbourne boy.
Yeah, I think he's born in South Australia, but he was brought up in Melbourne, something like that. So he's kind of linked to both states. But very happy with that pickup from North as well. Again, similar to Zach Fisher, just another good ball user. He's really quick and. I don't know. Could he go on the inside a little bit, maybe, just to get a bit more pace into that midfield? I don't know. We'll see how we go.
We'll find out. They've also got pretty strong hand in the draft as well, like a pick essentially every 10 picks. So 11, 23, 31, 42, 50, and 86. So they can probably do what they do, and they did it last year, I think, is they like own in on a player that they like and just move around some picks to go get them. So they'll probably be pretty calculated in who they decide to target. You'd think probably some tall depth, given that that's what they always sort of linked with.
Yeah. If they can manage to get what was it? Was it 11?
Connor O'Sullivan.
Yeah, I was going to say O'Sullivan at around 11.
He'd be fantastic.
That would be a great pickup for them. Key defender. And that's about his value, is the 10 mark. So
Yeah, I reckon you're on the money with that one, Matsa. Cool. So we're on to the Dogs now. We did talk already about Harms and Caulfield joining them. Sweet out. That's about it so far with the Doggies. Let me just check out their hand in the draft. They've got picks 10, 17, 37, and then some in the 60s and beyond.
yeah, so they're conjuring something up. So they've been linked to give 10, 17 and their future first to get Gold Coast 4. So 3 first-round picks for 4.
Who's for Dersma?
Who knows? Dersma, Nick Watson. It depends. Who do they want? Do they want Riley Sanders? Do they want another midfielder because they seem to just keep wanting midfielders?
McKercher, maybe.
McKercher, yeah. Who knows? Maybe they think, we want to put Bont back in the forward line because he's dangerous, even though we have freaking 17 key forwards. I don't know what's going on there. And they're also going to get Croft, who's another 200 centimeter key forward. They're a weird team, man. They're a weird team.
They are a weird team.
I don't know what they're conjuring up for pick 4, but obviously they have someone that they like.
Yeah.
I think it's Nick Watson. But
That would be, yeah.
Well, if they got Watson and Waitman, it's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, that'd be because their forward line, like apart from Waitman, like there's no what's it called?
Smalls.
No Smalls, no at the bottom of the pack type guys. They're all huge,
Jones, Arthur Jones.
Yeah, but let's be fair. He has a little bit of excitement, but we're not really.
No.
It wouldn't surprise me if he was delisted in 2 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Straight up.
Interesting.
Yeah,
well, we've mentioned Watson a few times already. I just want to make it clear. I don't think he's the best player in the draft. Maybe not even like top 3 or anything. But we saw in the grand final how valuable those damaging small forwards can be. So there's a lot of teams that, like the Dogs, probably think they're a finals team. Having a guy like Watson just really elevates you, I think.
Yeah. But you got to think, it's like, are those 3 picks that they would give up? So 10, 17, and future first. Would you give that for Tom Papley?
No, I wouldn't personally.
You wouldn't?
I think it's a bit much.
Would you give it for Charlie Cameron? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
100%. Would you give it for... who do you compare Nick Watson to? Like as a small forward? Like, I don't know.
He's very unique.
Betts.
He's very unique.
He's very unique. Like, how many small forwards garner that much, value? I don't know. If that's what they're going for?
Yeah.
Because I think you got to put it into perspective like that. They're trading up a lot for one person.
Well, they obviously think that they've got the pieces to win flag, and we kind of think that they do, but we also don't think that they do because they just meander, the Dogs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but you're right. They do have something cooking there, so we'll see if they can get that done. Where are we now? So the Crows. We mentioned Duday leaving and McAdam. There's Chris Burgess, who's nominated the Crows. Now, he's been really good, apparently, in Gold Coast VFL team. But
What was it? Leading goal kicker in the
there you
VFL.
go.
So,
but apparently they might move him back because Duday's leaving. So
yeah.
all that goal kicking, I don't think is going to be why they're bringing him in, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Other than that, no noise on the Crows front as far as I can see.
McAdam goes, and then Himmelberg, has been linked to GWS. That becomes a little bit more interesting because they're not getting Chol. Himmelberg, they need another replacement for Himmelberg. So they'll be in the market. Maybe, my thought was maybe Lachlan Keefe, just as a stopgap, so just make it a easy little swap between you and GWS. But I don't know how much they value him.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, they've got pick 9 in the draft, so they could easily just grab O'Sullivan or one of those other young tools as well.
Is there any highly talented South Australian boys in this draft off the top of your head? I can't really...
No, not that high.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of Victorians.
Couple
Curtin.
Tassis, WA, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's... Because fair enough that they want to target the South Australian guys.
Yeah, why not? If they're in that zone, of course you'd pick them up.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got 9, 21, 24. So to be honest with you, I think just with the list they've got, they'll be pretty good next year. So yeah, pretty interesting to see. They might have something up their sleeve, but nothing going on right now. So we can probably move on them. We mentioned the Bombers. So the Gresham one will look like it's happening. They're also going to bring in 2 North boys, Matsa. So Ben Mackay and Goldie.
Yeah. I like the Ben Mackay pickup for them. They're going to pay him a lot, but not that much in the end. So, pick 3 is coming our way, which is good. But with Ben Mackay, you're getting a guy who can play on the big key forwards, which Zerk Thatcher, they wanted him to do, but he can't. And then when you add an extra key defender like that, it allows Jordan Ridley to play more intercept and more run and jump, which he's very good at. So, and apparently they're really good mates. So that's nice little. It works out well for both, for Mackay, for Essendon, and for North. So,
Yeah.
What's the Goldie one though? Just a replacement for Phillips?
Yeah,
bit of
and
that.
Surely Draper's still main
Draper's
ruck.
apparently dealing with some injuries to start the year. So
Right.
he'll probably be number one ruck to start off, I would have thought.
Well, that's going to be weird, isn't it?
Very
Seeing
weird.
Red
Yeah,
Army
it's a
so
bit yuck.
weird.
It's very yuck.
It is.
Um,
Like it's still weird to me seeing Ben Brown play for Melbourne. To me, like when he does the big run up, I'm just like, oh, that run up. That
it
was
got
ours.
easier. When he shaved his head, it got a lot easier.
Yeah, it did. That's true. But Goldie, I don't think that'll ever. That's worse. That is worse than Ben Brown.
That's
True.
like a nightmare seeing him in like Essendon colours.
Yes, no, legit.
It's going to be bad, but at the same time, I don't know if Essendon will be making enough noise for me to really care, to be honest.
I hope not.
We'll see.
Hopefully that's the case.
I did just want to remind you guys, they do have Elijah Sardis, who was a
Yeah.
very high-end pick
He
last
didn't
year.
play, did he?
He played really late in the season.
No.
He's very good. He's actually got some outside skills
Well,
for
also,
them.
they've still got Nick Cox as well, which we kind of forgot
Correct.
Mm.
So you mix that in with their really good midfield already, obviously with Merritt, Parrish.
Zach Reed as well is
Zach
another
Reed.
key defender,
Yeah.
like high draft pick that hasn't had a good run. So that could be a really formidable back three if he gets fit and
True.
shows his potential that he showed early on. So
And they've got pick 8, 28, 47, and then some much later picks. So there's room there. If they draft well, they've got some good young talent developing to actually have a few like up and coming sort of stars on the team. But
we all just like seeing him go bad. We like seeing him go badly. Like so.
True.
Hopefully that maintains into
They do-
2024.
It was actually just also D'Ambrosio wanting to go to Hawthorn. I just thought I'd mention that as well. So
Yeah.
he wasn't playing for them, so I guess they shouldn't be too surprised. with
Yeah,
that
they're
one.
all. I've noticed like on Twitter, but this is on Twitter. They're all sooking about him leaving. Like, settle down. Like, you weren't playing him. You got him in the mid-season draft, and now you're going to get a second or third round pick out of him. Just take it and run. That's
100%. Now the Cats. It feels just strange that we have gone this far and haven't mentioned the Cats yet. But
It's refreshing, bro.
so Radaglia wants out, so we mentioned that. There's not been a single player really strongly linked or nominating Geelong, which is very interesting because usually
They're always taking something.
there's a queue. So the only one I actually just saw before was the delisted Tim O'Brien from the Dogs, maybe giving a chance at the Cats,
Yes, so
which he won't play. So
yeah.
I'll just have a look at their picks as well. Just bear with me. But what do you guys think? Like, what do they need? I mean, they're an interesting one.
I think they need midfield power, don't they?
Yeah, no, probably right because like if
Dangerfield,
Dangerfield doesn't
yeah.
play, it's just like Tom Atkins, Tanner Bruin. I don't even know who else. Max Holmes.
Max
Like,
Holmes is good.
Yeah, but it's
Who was the early pick that they got?
Jack Clark.
Jack Clark will play.
Yeah, you hope. If he gets a bit of game
And
time. maybe.
Jack Bowes?
And Jack Bowes, I might he can play a bit of
Because
midfield time.
Guthrie's really old now. Dangerfield's
Yeah.
old. They don't have much time left. What about a key forward? Because again, Hawkins will play one more year.
And you got to develop someone next to Cameron.
Cameron, like, he should be good for a couple of years still, but he's still like in his 30s, isn't he?
He's not young. It's a weird team because if they don't make finals, they're wasting Jeremy Cameron. They're wasting. That's kind of it out of their really really good players. Tom Stewart, like good players in their prime. It's just those two. It's just Stewart and Cameron.
Well, they've got so pick 7 and then pick 82. So they've really just got pick 7.
Okay. Look, I hope that's a pick that North can sort of try to pry out of their hands. Hey, we'll give you 14 and 19.
For
You know what I
7.
mean? Yeah. So you have 2 picks. You have 2 bites of the apple, maybe even 3 bites of the apple, and then we get a higher pick. Because I don't know, is one, top 10 pick what they need to rejuvenate their list? Probably not.
Same could be said for us though. Like we could probably use a few more bites at the apple.
Yeah, but we're going to have 2 very nice, juicy bites at the top. And then I wouldn't mind a third, relatively juicy bite.
That's just gluttony, bro. That's just gluttony.
Yeah, well, like, I can't help it, man likes to eat,
Okay, so we'll just see how the Cats go. But no, there's no noise there, so we can move on. What about the Tigers? So Jacob Kazitsky, who all the Richmond fans are talking up as if he's like going to have a massive impact. He's very average in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's the only one that's reported to go there at the moment. And then leaving them, nothing of note. There was actually Josh Jenkins, who's been doing a bit of talking in the media lately, thinking that they're a contender for Wooden Spoon next year. Your thoughts?
Look, their team without Tom Lynch fit, like there's not much going forward. Because Jack Rewalt's obviously he's retired. Then it's like Samson Ryan, now Kazitsky. Where do the goals come from the big guys?
There's the other small player, the left footer in the forward line.
Not Shy Bolton.
No, not Shy Bolton. He's a small forward.
I'm lost, bro.
I can't remember.
I haven't thought about Richmond Tigers for months now. But look, I don't think they're bad enough to go bottom. Because you still have a decent midfield group in Taranto, Martin when he goes in there, Shy Bolton. And then, hopefully they can have a bit more fitness from guys like Tom Lynch, Gibcus, who... Did he miss the whole year in the end?
Gibcus.
Noah Bolter is one of the best intercept players in the league.
Most intercept marks in the comp.
Yes. So, look, it's really not that bad. But yeah, look, if Jenkins wants a bit of, notoriety, fair enough, man.
Well, also got a new coach. What game style does he bring to the Tigers? Does he continue the same kind of crazy, get it forward at all costs Richmond game style? Or do they change it up a little bit?
Yeah.
Uze has been very highly touted as a potential coach. So I'm expecting good things.
Yeah. Well, they've...
Who knows?
I agree. I think, last is a bit harsh. Bottom 4, I wouldn't put it past it, but they've lost Cochin, Rewalt, Tarrant, Castagna, all through retirement. Tom Lynch, still injury clouds moving into preseason. So he's...
Oh, wow. That's bad.
If he's out for chunks of the season again, then you're just left with Dusty, assuming he's fit, Shy Bolton, and then Taranto as your really star players.
Yeah. And then it's again Samson, Ryan, and Kaczynski as your forwards.
So I see it as well. It can go right or wrong. There's sort of maybe a bit of luck will dictate how they go, but they've got picks 26. So because they traded for Taranto and Hopper, their hand is pretty poor considering how bad they were last year. So 26, 45, and then some really late ones. Maybe they'll try to get creative, but maybe they just sort of sit there and just develop what they've got and just take someone.
Yep.
But that'll become like pick 30 plus by that point. So it's not looking good for them. Interesting. We're almost done, boys. So a couple more. Freo, we've already sort of discussed them. So Hamling and Henry leaving. Not much in terms of coming in that I've seen. Have you guys...
Nah.
What about is there Sean Darcy potentially going somewhere?
Mats has been hot on this for a while.
I'd love him at North, man, and that's what they've been saying. Oh, Clarko went to Perth. Who's he having a chat to?
The sausage.
The sausage. He'd be a good pickup for us.
He'd be a good pickup for anyone.
Yeah, true.
Anyone that needs he could go to Port as well.
They do not have the assets to get him.
No.
But
would you guys give up a first round pick for him?
Yeah.
Would you give up pick 3?
14 or 19.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable giving up 3, to be honest with you.
No way.
But that's probably what they'll want. If they said, look, what's their first pick?
22.
Then I was going to say if we could shift 3 back, but that pick's a Melbourne pick now. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd rather just take the best at 3 maybe. Maybe you go 14 and 19. I'd give 2, but not top 5. Top 5 is huge.
Yeah. And they're, again, their hand is pretty poor. So I mentioned 22, 41, 55, and then some later ones. And that's because of the Jackson stuff.
Yeah.
So
and see, we can give them 2 bites of the apple. And then we can take Sean Darcy.
This apple...
Mats is the apple farmer today.
Oh, mate, that's it, man. Granny Smith.
They're pretty boring at the moment too, the Dockers. So we'll move on to the Suns. We did mention already Chol, who Damien Hardwick must just hate. So he's leaving.
He's got rid of him twice.
Shipping him off again. Burgess leaving as well. Holland's probably leaving as well. Not much by the way of ins again.
But their draft is going to be the easiest draft of all time.
So their picks, I'm just going to read them out because it's pretty funny and it's going to become even more, right? So they've got 4, which you mentioned before, the Dogs and other teams want because they've got 3 first-round talents, including the best key forward that
3
are all
top
in their
10.
academy.
Oh.
They're all in their academy.
2 are top 10, 1 probably top 15.
Yeah, safely all 3 top first-round picks, and Jed Walters is going to be the number 1 forward going. So that pick 4 is going to become a couple later picks. But for now, 4, 29, 35, 43, 57, 61, 66, 69, 79. So they're just basically hoarding picks for points.
Yeah. The thing is that all the guys that they're getting, like forward in Walter, who's like high pressure, big key forward, like that's fantastic. The ruckman is going to be the developing ruckman next to Witts for the next 3-4 years, and you see how he goes. He's like Luke Jackson vibes, is what they're saying.
They're calling him a unicorn, skillful, quick for his height.
Unicorn.
Yeah, that's what they're calling him.
See, you don't know. That's what every NBA tall guy's called. So
Right.
that's probably a bit foreign to you to hear. Unicorn.
Skillful big guys are just unicorns.
Yeah, they're unicorns. And then Jake Rogers, who's an undersized mid, but he's very, very good. So yeah, that's
That's the 20% of the list that Damon Hardwick is waiting for.
exactly right.
Pretty much, bro.
They're all going to be guns. So
there's pretty much nothing by way of established players that's linked with them at the moment. They're probably just all in picks mode and get these 3 in and they'll probably call it a day.
Yeah.
So we'll move on then to the Hawks. So the Hawks have Kajitsky and Brockman wanting out. Brockman to the Eagles.
D'Ambrosio coming in.
D'Ambrosio in. Chol in.
Yeah.
Who Chol for them I like a lot actually.
Same.
Their ruck situations, like they've got a few useful big guys, but none of them really skillful.
Well, it means that they'll probably have to make a decision between Reeves and the other guy. Meek, yeah. Between those 2 guys. Because then I feel like you can't have... Like if you have Chol as a really
Chol
good...
second ruck.
Yeah, exactly. He's actually a solid second ruck. So you might as well, have him chop out whoever the number 1 is out of Reeves and Thingo. I don't know. I don't know who's better out of Reeves and Meek. They're both kind of the same. Reeves may be slightly better because of just this sheer size. But
it's interesting.
Yeah, anyway.
So yeah, a couple ins for them. Obviously the Hawks, I'll just get to their picks in a moment. So they've got
top what? They're pick 4.
Pick 3. Yeah, it'll probably become 4.
Pick 4.
And then 30, 49, 78. So there's talks of them trying to get 1, offering like pick 3 and their future first for 1 and stuff like that. I don't think they'll get it. So with that pick 3, they're going to have a good player coming in for sure.
Yeah, whoever it is, out of the Dersma, McKercher, Watson, whoever drops, they pick up, and I think they'd be pretty happy.
Correct. But otherwise, we sort of discussed the rest as we were going, so we'll leave it at that. Now North. So there's a few...
Stevens and Fisher.
Stevens and Fisher we've discussed. There's a few outs as well. So we did mention Goldie and Mackay, but let's not forget Aaron Hall, Zeebull, Cunnington retiring. Interesting times for North.
Look, here's my thing. Even though all these old guys are going, they're all at the tail end, and Hall and Cunnington hardly played, right? So I'm not too concerned with like, we're getting all these old players going. Now we're going to get even worse. That's just not the case. We're already bad. So I think it could be addition via subtraction in this case, where now you have an opportunity for a young guy to take those spots and they could really flourish.
Yeah.
And if we were to go up the ladder at all, it's going to be because of that.
Are you guys linked to any experienced players? Rebuilding teams might throw in some experience to...
Nothing too obvious other than Stevens and Fisher. Then there's more like project players. Like there's Richmond's tall guy, Big O Nyum, which like he looks exciting. I don't know how good at football he is, but he's got the athleticism.
We got Toby Pink from the Sandful.
I love, me and Matsa always talk about it, like those key defenders from VFL or Sandful or something that just, they're in the 190 centimetre plus range, like 195. They're developed because they're about 25 odd years old or older.
Just give him a shot.
You just like plug him in, just give him a shot. Like Mitch Adams, these sort of guys. Like we need someone like that. So, but it's more so about the bite at the apple, as Matt's theme has been today. So pick 2's ours. 3 will be the combo for Mackay, and then there's 14 thanks to Port Adelaide and 19 thanks to the AFL. So We've got a lot going on there. Matt's has got the apple off the table there.
That's it, man.
Now you got to bite it. Live on stream.
So look, North's going to have a lot to do. It's going to be very interesting. Coaching shake-up as well. Essentially, all the coaches are going to be new, aside from Clarko.
Yeah. Barlow comes in, you know.
Barlow, Xavier Clark.
Yeah. Barlow, the best first-year player since Sheaves.
But he was mature age.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, also, actually, yeah, best first-year players, those two, and Walsh. Like, let's be honest, they're up there.
Dacos as well.
Ashcroft.
Ashcroft.
So yeah, exciting for North. We'll get into the draft stuff more in a few weeks' time.
Yeah.
But then we go to the Eagles now. I'm a bit worried about the Eagles, boys.
Surely there should be more noise about the Eagles.
There's really not. They've brought in Matty Flynn.
Yeah.
Ruck. So okay, you
For
got a
Nick
Ruckman.
Nat.
For Nick Nat. That's the one big change.
Brockman, high potential wing / small forward.
Yeah.
I like that move.
So then, though, they've lost. Hearn's retired. Nadanui's retired. Shuey's retired. They've got pick 1, 20, 34, 39, and then some really late ones. What do you think they should do with the number 1 pick? Obviously, Harley Reid, I wholeheartedly believe he's the best player in the draft.
Just take him, bro.
But if you can get North's 2, 14, 19, is that what they need more?
Would you guys give up those 3 picks?
I reckon we would, yeah.
I would do 2, 14, 19. I just don't want to give 2 and 3. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Like 2 and 3
That's too much. No.
is a lot.
That's too much.
You know? And they don't have another pick to give us back. Like if they had another top 10 pick to give us back, I'd be like, okay, sure.
Well, from West Coast point of view, I think ultimately if North offers that, they'd be stupid not to take it. And that's not even me thinking as a North fan. I just think you're moving back 1 spot to get the next best kid in the draft and then 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the issue is, I find, is that Curtin he looks like a gun, right? But he's not the next best player in the draft. That's the issue. If he was a clear number 2, I don't think you'd have any hesitation in taking the clear number 2, who's a Western Australian guy.
He might be though, man. He might be.
True.
He's
true.
195. He plays halfback, key back, and midfield. He's got 30 possession games playing midfield as a 195, mainly defender. He's 18 years old. He might grow to 197 centimeters and then become like a Darcy Moore.
He could be like Darcy Moore. He could be a tall Will Day. Like there's high potential.
Will Day's already tall.
I know Will Day is already tall.
So it's interesting, man. There's a lot of pressure on them. There's a lot of people that have left their club. They need more talent. I think I don't even know if North would offer that. That's why I'm saying if they did, I think they should take it.
Yeah, true.
Or if another team offered 3 first-round picks, they should take it.
It's pretty clear they're going to be bad next year.
Yeah,
They're going to be bad.
I think it's very like spoiler alert, probably.
Yeah.
If we do our little ladder thing again, they're probably bottom again.
Interesting.
And then they'd get some priority picks.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they will ask for it.
Oh, sure, they have to.
And then I'll be fuming if they do get it.
That pushes back our picks by 1. This is bullshit. Yeah.
Funny. That's about it, boys. So we've gone through all 18 teams without an ad. So no install a ream, no nothing. Hope you guys, hope you listeners and viewers enjoyed that.
Demonetized now.
Yeah, we're gonna get demonetized. Damn. Hey, do you know? Wasn't it last week we were talking about breakout players?
Yes.
Do you want to go revisit the last 10 teams? Quick fire, little.
The bottom 8.
Yeah, bottom 8.
I think it was the
bottom 10.
Bottom 10. It feels so weird saying bottom 10.
Okay, we'll start from the bottom. West Coast Eagles.
Breakout players.
Harley Reid.
Yeah, true. Look, maybe if someone like when they get Brockman, he's a very high, potential kid. They also have someone like Elijah Hewitt, who was quietly, building into the season and looking.
My boy
right.
Jermaine Jones.
Jermaine Jones, baby.
I'm gonna go. Someone they picked with a first-round pick, not last year, the year before, Campbell Chesser. He's been injured. He hasn't had a chance to show his worth. But I'll go. You know what? Off half-back, he might have more of a chance, or on the wing.
That seems like a huge flyer because I saw nothing from him.
Yeah, no, he hasn't done well. That's why I'm saying breakout candidate.
Fair
So
enough.
I'm going to go for someone who's not proved it yet
Okay.
to show something next year.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know about them, bro.
Jimby.
No, he's not going to break. He's still too young for him to break out.
Fair.
What about North Melbourne? We'll let George go first on this one. I'm keen to hear what you think.
I think someone like Taron Thomas could go even further. Like he had a good year, but can he become like an All-Australian half forward? He's my pick.
Yeah, I like that one. And that's probably one that I would have said.
I don't want to say something like Sheasel or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Oh, he's already
He's already
BNF.
broken
He's already
out.
the BNF, man.
Mm.
Yeah, nah. I think, to be honest, Taron Thomas is the best pick there because he plays in the guts. He uses it well. And, it's going to be a contract year as well. So he probably wants to really, drain as much money out of our club as possible, which is fair enough. That's what you got to do. Apart from that, if I'm to go to another player, I think depending on where he lines up next season and if he's fit, Charlie Coleman. Because he was really attacking and really like defense. How can I say it? His energy and his effort last year when he was playing, making tackles, bringing pressure to defenders was fantastic. So I don't know if he's going to play forward next year or if he's going to play in the defense because I think he could be really good. Physically, he has the attributes to play in the defense as well. So I'm going to go with Common.
I'm going to go Josh Goda off halfback. Two years in the system now. He's shown some skills, some athleticism, intercept off halfback, and there's a spot for him now. Hall's gone, Zeebel's gone. There's room for him to step up, so I'll take a smoky on him.
Cool.
Hawks.
Oh, well, they already had a huge breakout player in Will Day this year. And Jay Newcomb. So who could go? Who can go next?
They've got a couple of mids, like Josh Ward's been in the system for a couple of years. Connor McDonald, been there a couple of years. Do they take their game to the next level? Third year in the system, not sure.
And then there's the other one as well, the Sam Mitchell clone.
Yeah, but he's still too young, I think, Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Ward's a good shout. He's a good player.
Yeah, I like that one.
Then we have the Suns. Gold Coast Suns. Breakout talent.
Yeah, I think they've got a few dudes who we already sort of know about, but like when it comes to breakouts, does Ballard, show that he can do it more than for just half a season and have a really good full season and be an All-Australian? Maybe it's his opportunity to break out.
About Lukosius, does he kind of half broke out?
Yeah, I don't know. He's never.
Can he kick 40, 50 goals?
I think he can. Yeah.
What about the other first-year player? That
Bailey Humphrey. He's got talent.
Probably still a bit early, but...
Yeah, it depends on position where he plays. Like, because if they play him in the forward line, he might get a little bit lost there. The weird one for them. I can't... It's hard to pick one there.
What about the Freo Dockers?
We all know mine for this one.
He's just Hayden Young. So
Yes.
I don't know. Amos.
Yeah, Jaimis. Erasmus as well. He's been in the system 3 years now.
Michael, is it not Michael? Matthew Johnson. Matthew Johnson, he looked really good at the back end of the year. Like, because the thing with him, he's not the quickest, but like, he's a good extractor and he uses it super well. Like, he's very classy.
Who's the left footer that... I'm forgetting so many names today. I don't know. I'm just like asking you, who's that left footer? He kicks...
Matthew Suckling?
No. He is a left footer. I can't remember his name for Freo. Couple of years in the system.
Obviously,
same draft as Erasmus, I think.
Not Hayden Young, obviously.
No.
We've already gone with him.
Same draft as Erasmus.
So Erasmus, it was Jai Amos. It was Jai Amos, Erasmus, and Matthew Johnson.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So
there's another kid. Can't remember.
Wagner.
Not Wagner. Not Wagner. See if I can find it.
Clark?
Lockie Schultz?
Definitely not.
Bro, you're making someone up, bro.
No, I'm not. I'm going to go through the whole Freo team now.
Yeah, no. We'll get back to you. We'll get back to that one.
Nathan O'Driscoll?
Yes.
There we go.
That's an interesting one.
Noddy.
Thank you for picking that because I was doing my head. I got a headache just trying to think of that name. I like Nod, bro. He's good.
Yeah, all right.
Fair cool. The Tigers, breakout candidate. That's interesting.
Yeah.
They're going to need a few.
They do. Well, look, Josh Gibcus. Yeah, Josh Gibcus. I think that's a guy who can, maybe follow in the footsteps of Bolter and just be intercepting everything, maybe hold down a key position spot, like as in hold down a key forward. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I'm looking at their list now. Tyler Young? Okay.
Yeah, interesting one.
It's the name.
Yeah, it's a young player, young defender, yeah.
Okay, yeah. None of their players really
move on,
catch
bro.
the eye. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Collier Dawkins.
Clear Dawkins. I think he got delisted
Did
like
he?
2 years ago, bro. I don't know.
What about the Cats? They need a couple youngsters to step up as well.
I think it should be primed for Tanner Bruin because now he's had a bit of time in the midfield. He'll have another preseason under his belt. We all know that, he was a high draft pick, so hopefully he can, show what he's worth.
What about Mitch Nevitt? I quite liked him this year. I thought he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Knevet.
The tall blonde kid,
Yeah.
he was sort of a winger, sort of a...
He was a backman, wasn't he?
Nah. I feel like he was playing on the wing or on the inside a little bit. So, yeah, that's not a bad one. He gets a bit more muscle. He's got the frame. So, yeah, Nevitt's not bad. Does Holmes go another level as well?
I think he does. See how quick he was, the AFL Grand Final sprint?
Oh, man. He won by 2 or 3
That's
meters.
what I'm saying. I was like, I didn't even watch it. I knew Holmes was going to win.
I still thought Dusty Tucker might have won, but anyway, a bit disappointed there.
Always robbed, huh? Always
Yeah,
robbed.
man.
What about the Bombers, boys? I'm going to go Tardis.
Yeah, fair enough. We've seen what his, two counterparts in the... I feel like they were all good mates. Him, Sheasel, and Wardlaw. They were kind of, they were two of the three that North had to pick was out of those ones. I can't really explain this very well. But out of the three of those, North had to pick 2, and Tardis was the remainder.
Remainder.
I struggle with that word.
I like Perkins.
Archie.
Yeah. I like that
Now
one.
that Tip and Woody would have been my pick, but now that he's delisted or retired,
Fair enough, man. What about Alwyn Davey Jr.?
I don't know.
He's got some talent.
They're twins, right?
Jaden Davey.
Jaden Davey.
Jaden
yeah.
David didn't play, did he?
No,
No.
he was injured.
Mm.
But they've got a few of those smalls that can develop. What about the Adelaide Crows?
Rochelle is my first pick. Rochelle.
Yeah.
I think he'll go to another level.
He could get a bit more midfield time, find it a bit more with that experience that he'll have now. I like that one. Other than that,
Max McElhaney was good in his first year. I don't know what his sort of growth curve will look like, but Riley Thorpe, huge year for him next year. He was a
Yeah.
top 3 pick.
See, he's the one where, can he be a number 1 ruck full time?
I don't think so.
See,
Not right now. Couple of years maybe.
yeah, because if he could be, then I think it makes their midfield look a lot more dynamic. Because Riley O'Brien, I like him, but he's not the most mobile guy. He's just hit out machine. So
Adelaide need another superstar mid, in my opinion.
Clayton Oliver.
They need Oliver.
Make it happen, George.
They dared to dream for one day, the Crows.
And the last one is the Western Bulldogs.
Breakout player.
Well, look, Jamara
Yeah,
played
it's-
really well
it's a good
this year. This year, it feels like it's natural that this is going to be his 50 or 60 goal year.
Yeah.
Just, progression wise.
I reckon Bond's going to break out. I think he's going to go supercharged level, get 40 votes in the Brownlow and still lose to someone next year.
Can I say one that's going to sound like I'm joking, but I'm actually not?
Okay.
Given the contract he just signed,
Norton.
Aaron Norton, kick 65 to 70 goals. Come on.
Yeah.
We've come to that point
I
now.
dare you, bro. I dare you.
You've come to the point now. You've signed the big dollars. Time to pay it back.
See, the thing with Norton that bugs me is that I want him to be a key defender because he'd be super good at it, and he'd probably be an All-Australian most years. And because they've got so many forwards. Anyway, I don't know. That's just me. That's me.
The Dogs are a basket case. I'm not watching them next year until they change their coach. I'm sick of their game style. I'm sick of the fact that they got players but they can't play. I'm sick of the fact that they can't defend transition.
Yeah.
I'm sick of the fact that they have superstar midfielders everywhere yet they can't do anything with it.
George,
It's annoying, man.
Where's Sam Darcy? Where's
Oh,
Sam
that's a
Darcy
good
there?
shout, that's a good
205 centimetre
He's a bit-
ruckman
He
key
could break
defender.
out. Is he?
Where's
He's
he
not,
there?
he's
he
not
was a
injured.
bit injured last year at times.
Nah, get him in there, mate. I'm sick of it.
Man, there's a enjoyers boycott on the Dogs. Interesting. Didn't see that coming.
If
Look,
anyone puts him in their 8 next year, you're out of the pod.
You're out of look,
You're out
legit.
of the pod.
They're hoarding 200 plus centimetre key forward ruckman. I'm over it. Legit.
Stop ordering him, bro.
I know,
Share him with the rest of the comp.
I know, man. I want one of English, Norton, Darcy, Croft, Lob. I want one of them.
Buslinger.
Bustling.
They've got Lob as well. Jeez.
This, bro, it's ridiculous. They've got too many. I'm over it. I'm
Agreed.
with you, man. I'm boycotting them as well.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's-
I'm with you, bro. Stuff them.
You know what? No better way to end the pod.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Unless there was anything else you guys wanted to.
No,
Yeah,
that
all
was
good.
that was good, man.
Done. No worries. Well, look, big week of trades and free agency coming up. I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about next week. Probably more to do with what happened and
Concrete stuff. Yeah.
concrete stuff and who we thought won the trades and free agent moves. So it'd be interesting. Thanks everyone for watching and listening. We'll see you on the next one.
Cheers.
Right.